Hello and welcome back. So in this tutorial, what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a little bit more of a roof with character here. So what we're going to be doing is basically we're going to panelize this roof just like David Light's done in his on his web page. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to hover over the form I have here. I'm going to tab until I just marking the top part of the form, and then I'm going to hit what's called the divide surface command. And by doing that, it automatically goes into a rectangle grid. And it says no pattern here, but it actually contains a rectangle pattern. And what I can do here is I can actually take this pattern here and I can change it a little bit. So maybe I want to have 12 panels instead of 10 there. And automatically have 2 more segments. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to fill every single one of these rectangles that we have here, and we're going to fill that with a panel. Now this panel comes in a family, so what we're going to be doing now is we're going to go into the Revit icon mode here. We're going to go new, family. And the family we're going to be using to create this pattern is metric curtain panel pattern based. So it's going to open that up. And this family contains 4 points, and it also contains 4 lines to start out with. And what we're going to be doing is that first we're actually going to set a reference to reference planes, or to points in this location and this location, and we're gonna send them a little bit further or upwards, and I'm gonna explain why in a little bit. So I take the point command and I use the set work plane command, and then I activate this local work plane in this point here, and I host a point in it. And I do the exact same thing over here, that work plane, and I place the point there. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to tab into that little point I have up there. I'm just going to create, there it is. I'm going to take that, mark these 2 points, and I'm going to give these 2 points the offset value. So I'm going to my offset value, activate the ability to give it a parameter, and I say structure height. I'm going to make that an instance parameter. So here's my 2 points, and I'm going to spline a point in between them. I'm going to make that a reference line. So there it is. There's my reference line right in between those 2 points. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to host a point on this line that I have here. So if I take this the point here, and I'm just going to hover over and drag it along this line here, you can see that it actually pops, it activates what's called a midpoint. It's just like you have in CAD. So I have the point element, I hover over the other line. There's my midpoint, and it's going to place the point there. And the reason I'm going to be placing the point there is because if I go into the top view, I've noticed immediately that by having this diagonal here and placing the point in the middle, that also implies that I'm placing the point in the middle of the panel. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this structural height and I'm going to give it a value of 2 meters maybe, just so it comes a little bit further up. And in a little bit, I'm going to be placing actually, I think I'm going to be doing that in the next video. But I'm going to be placing structural members that goes from these points up to this central point. So in every single instance here, in these 4 instances, they're going to have a meeting point here. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to create the actual curtain panel. The glass panel is going to be hosted in between these lines here. So I go to point command, set the work plane, activate the local work plane, and place a point. And I'm going to do that throughout this this panel here. Take these points, just drag them up a bit. It's easier to get hold of it, see that I'm actually grabbing hold to the right command, or to the right point here, so I'm not using these points. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I mark them all, like this, and I'm going to call this parameter, it's an offset parameter, I'm going to call that panel thickness. Panel thickness, and I'm going to make that an instance parameter. So there's my 4 points, and then I'm going to use my spline by points tool. It's going to spline a point in between these points here. And these 4 points that I have here, I'm going to make these a reference line. Okay, I can flex it just to make sure that they actually update accordingly. So I'm going to take them down to 400. That's fine. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take these reference lines down here, hold down Control, activate the ones at the top, and then I'm going to use my Create Form tool. I use the solid form, and suddenly I have a panel here. I can just click on the form element, and I can give that add parameter value, and that's going to be panel material, and I can make that an instance parameter. So I can flex this one again, and I say the panel thickness is actually not going to be 400, maybe it's going to be 700, something similar there. There we go, and you can see it actually updates, it becomes a whole lot thicker. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this panel that I created here, and I'm just going to hide them temporarily. So I click on the panel, go down to my glasses over here, temporarily hide it. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a form here that goes along the length of these reference lines. So I'm going to take the point tool, place a point here. And then I'm activate the work plane just by clicking on it. Click on it, line tool. Oh, set the work plane. There we go. And I do not want 3D snapping activated here. So I'm going to say you're going to be 80, and I'm going to drag them right out and say it's going to be 80 again. And let's see now, it could be 80 again here. Just going to make that 60, drag it down again. There we go, and there's my form. Next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this form and mark it, click around the edge here on my form, and go create, or along my line. And suddenly I have this frame here. I'm going to hover in here and mark this structural member here, and I'm going to give that a parameter as well. I'm going to call it structural material, and I can make that an instance parameter as well. So there we are, and next I can then unhide my my panel, and I can change the thickness of this panel. So it's actually not going to be 700, it's going to be 20. There we go. And then I can change the material parameter to this one. So the panel material in itself could be a glass. I'm going to call that some sort of a red glass or some sort over here. I can use a glass, the matte glass. Take that into the project. Modify its setting just so we get a little bit of a clearer view of what we're actually dealing with there. The graphics, the color here of the graphics, first and foremost, I'm going to make this like 50% maybe transparent. I'm going to give the color, we can make it the color red. We can also look at the render appearance, and it's a custom color. Right now it's a blue one. I can change that also into a red one. There we go. Done. So there's my glass. I'll go apply. Okay. And then I have my structural material, so I'm going to activate that one as well. And it's going to be metal, so I'm going to go down to my metal here, click on the metals, find some sort of steel maybe, this one's will do. Take that one into the project. I look at the properties of this one. What's the graphical setting for it? The color is gray. Well, that could be. It's going to make it a little bit less gray. There it is. Apply. And okay. I can see that I have steel for the structure material and I have glass for the matte material. Apply. Okay. And I look at it in my consistent color view just to get a better feel for what I'm actually looking at here. So that looks fine. I'm going to save this one and I'm going to let you guys catch up. Thank you.